Welcome to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. My name is Dave. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start the episode right now. Happy to have you here. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show. My name is Dave. Happy to be with you. Once again, we're talking podcast editing and support with some of my favorite friends. You, podcast editing and support person. You're thinking about doing it? You are doing it. You're in the right place. Thanks for pressing play. I want to talk today about some of the value that we can deliver as podcast editing and support people, the value we can give to our clients, to their audience, and so on and so on and so on. What we can do to help our podcasters be successful on the mic, on their show, build community, build a podcast that's really amazing. We can do all this together. And what are some of these value offerings that we can add? Well, we're all about the value here on the podcast. Let's jump into this. First of all, we offer higher quality productions than some of the do-it-yourselves out there and the people who think that they don't need editing at all. I'm just going to go live and let it fly because every word I say is perfect. It isn't. And your audience would love if you would do some editing because everything in the world gets editing. Books get edits, movies get edits, music gets edits, everything gets edits. So you thinking you don't need anything? I don't think your audience is going to agree with you on that one. Everybody benefits from cleaning up a little bit of their editing and their content, making it sound better, more concise, more pleasing for your audience. More people leave podcasts as a listener because it's boring than stick around. So you might be just boring enough for people to hit stop. So let's fix that through podcast editing and support. We offer some higher quality productions. How do we do that? Here's a few ideas. An edited podcast sounds better, feels more polished, more organized, more professional, thanks to personalized coaching paired with an expert who knows how to make you sound great. This is what we do. This is why we do it. And we have the tools to make you sound better. I am shocked by what people send me as far as what they've done in the past on their own, and they think it's good enough. I do some edits, I send it back to them, and they're like, oh my gosh. Like, how did you do that? Exactly. That's what we do. We step up and we do things that people don't know how to do, don't know they need to do. And just like any good sound person running any event, you don't even know they're there. But you see the effects, you hear the effects of what they do, but you can't pick them out of the crowd, right? Because they're that good. When things go wrong, that's when you can pick them out of a crowd. But when everything's going right, you can't see them. And it's seamless because they know what they're doing. That's what we do. We offer higher quality productions than people with zero ability, zero tech skills, zero time could do on their own. And this whole thing about I'm just going to go live and set it live and I don't do any edits because it's a live edit, it's a live recording, and that's how it was. Every podcast benefits from editing. Every podcast benefits from editing, and that's why we're here. Another thing we can offer is sustainable podcasting success for the podcasters that we serve. You and I, as podcast coaches, can really help our clients to avoid some of the common pitfalls that trap a lot of podcasters and stop people from podcasting, turning them into podfaded shows. We can help them get past being stagnant with their show and to grow a routine around their podcast and offering this sense of accountability and redefining each stage of the process so that people know where they're at. We can be the measuring stick for podcasters to see where they are, how they can grow, and what they can do better. That's what we can do as podcast editing and support people. And we need to step up and do that for people. And we need to let people know that that's something we offer. If you don't tell people that you offer this kind of help and service and support, they don't know to ask. And they don't even know sometimes they need it. So please, talk about this with your clients. Let them know this is things that you offer because the light bulb might go off in their mind going, I've been struggling with this forever. And now I have help. This is amazing. We can offer that sustainable podcasting success to help podcasters keep podcasting. We can also help our podcasters that we serve with personal and creative growth around their show. As we work with our clients, they gain new technical skills. They know how to use a microphone better. They know how to present themselves. They know how to talk better on the mic. They're more aware of their crutch words, and they're making themselves better, which could lead to all kinds of opportunities like getting on stage in front of a live audience. The skills and talents you learn recording your podcast on a regular basis, as you address the things that need to be worked on, you will present yourself better on stage in front of a live audience because you've been doing the thing on a regular basis. You get better, and those skills transfer over to other areas of your life, supporting your podcast and beyond. We can really help people grow as people, as podcasters, and as individuals by giving them the abilities and teaching them how to be better on the mic, on their show, and in real life. It's something that we can help them with. We can help them with their marketing around their show. We can help them in their sessions when they're recording. We can help support both their podcast and their journey overall in podcasting. We can be there to help them and have a creative growth structure to what they do as podcasters, leading to great opportunities for them. We can also help them with their listener-centric content, helping them create content that really resonates with an audience. As we help our podcasters understand their audience analysis, the stats, all the information we get behind the scenes when someone presses play on a podcast, we can help with the critiques of their content and their ability to consistently deliver their content to their listeners by keeping their engagement and growth strong through understanding, monitoring the numbers, and giving them a really good benchmark on what podcasting is today and where they sit in comparison to other similar shows to what their show is at. So if you're brand new with 2 episodes, comparing yourself to New Heights with the Kelsey Brothers or Joe Rogan is an unfair comparison. So we need to show them how to compare themselves to other people in the same area and at the same stage and give them some reference points that make more sense. That's how we continue to help people grow in podcasting and keep podcasting. And then the last part of this is just the peace of mind that comes with being supported as a podcaster. I talk about it often here on the show. The reason I titled this podcast Editing and Support is because I think it's more than just editing. It's more than just ums and ahs. We're here to help people with their peace of mind and to be a support for them long-term as podcasters. Creators know they're not alone when they work with someone like you and I. They have technical partners. They have creative allies. They have somebody they can trust as an advisor to steer them, making the podcast experience less overwhelming and more rewarding. There will be a significant drop in the amount of pod-faded shows where people start a show on their own, try to do it themselves, hit a wall, and quit. Just walk away from their plans. We as podcast editing and support people can help to stem that tide of people leaving podcasting en masse. We're here to help people. And as you create your business around podcast editing and support, think about all of these things as add-ons, additions to what you do to help people with their podcast. In the next episode, we're going to talk about some features that we can add to a podcast coaching plan, in addition to the editing, in addition to all the other support that we do, the coaching side, that we can develop even further with our podcasters through our business, and letting people know that we are available for this. In all of the discussions we do here on this show, my encouragement for you as a podcast editor and support person is to have your own show. And I know there's a lot of people in the space that I've talked to who don't have their own podcast. They don't do this on a regular basis. They don't know what it's like to record an episode, prepare for it, do a guest interview, upload it to your hosting site. They're not in the space. They're not in the pool. And I think you can swim better in a pool than you can sitting on the chairs around the pool reading a book about swimming. Get in the pool. As a podcaster, get into the mix. Be where podcasters are by having your own show. It'll give you better insight into what's happening in the space, where some of the hard things are that you can help fix. And you'll learn more about the offerings you can bring to your business by being a part of the business. So if you don't have your own show, even if you do 1 episode a month, 12 episodes a year, but be in the space, do something. As a podcast editing and support person, it can be unrelated to what you do as far as an editor. Maybe you just love talking about plants, animals, movies, music, books, but you just want to get on and talk about something that you're passionate about, but it gets you in the mode of doing a recording on a regular basis and understanding and seeing the gaps. You're going to learn more by being on the field in gameplay than way up in the stands and everyone looks like they're the size of a peanut. Get onto the field. You're going to learn more by being on the field than sitting way up in the stands, watching from a distance. Podcasting needs you, and we need you to create a show for your own. So you'll learn on the job so you can help people better. If you need help with your podcast business, you want to just have a virtual coffee and talk about your podcast editing and support business, I'd love to meet you. Reach out to me at podcasteditingandsupport.com. I'd love to get some time with you in your calendar and let's chat. Thank you for being here. Stick around for the next episode as we talk about more of a coaching style to our podcast editing and support services and the fact that we need to let people know that this is something we offer. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. Visit us at podcasteditingandsupport.com, podcasteditingandsupport.com. We would love to help you find a great podcast editor, or if you want to hire us, we would love to work with you. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. Catch you on the next episode. Take care.